Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Sally Spectrum may start seeing Nick Newman following her breakup with Billy Abbott. Will Sally pursue a romantic reconnection after deciding she wants her stable Newman back? Sally briefly enjoyed having Nick by her side, but she eventually moved on to Adam Newman. Given that Adam cheated on Sally with Chelsea Lawson, it is obvious that that resulted in heartache. If Billy and Phyllis Summers continue on this course, Sally might now experience a similar level of destruction. Sally has made an effort to keep her heart safe, but she has failed because she has now fallen deeply in love with Billy. That implies that if Billy cheats Sally with his ex-lover, it will be difficult for her. Sally might also end up in the arms of a past romantic interest if Billy and Phyllis eventually cross the line. Nick tried his best to keep Sharon Newman in the friend zone and gently disappoint her in the March 19th episode of YNR. Since it doesn't seem like Nick and Sharon will be getting back together, Nick might instead get back together with another ex. Once things with Billy break apart, Nick may at least be there for Sally as a friend because he will always care about her. Both parties might become tempted as a result, and Sally would ask Nick if they might try again to be together. Would Adam become envious if Sally and Nick were back together? Could that cause problems and have an impact on Adam's relationship with Chelsea? In any case, Nick is unmarried and has no plans to get back into a relationship with Sharon anytime soon. If Billy blows off their relationship, Sally might also be on the edge of becoming single, therefore she might start to lean back toward Nick. Sally might start to worry about their future when she is made to witness Billy save Phyllis time and time again and fortify their relationship. Sally might end up on a different romantic path if Billy betrays her in the end, one that might eventually lead her back to Nick. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Sally is going through some difficult times. Keep checking back for any devastating news that can alter her life's trajectory. Nate offered to buy his cousin a drink at the club at Chancellor Winters and proposed that he and Devin end their evening together. According to Devin, that was the best offer he had received all day. Tucker joined Audra at a table at the athletic club and expressed astonishment at hearing from her so quickly after their last chat. She gave the waiter instructions to place his typical drink on her tab. Audra dismissed their most recent encounter as a few heated exchanges between old friends, and Tucker astonished that it was the deluxe apology. Tucker questioned whether she was turning into the erratic person that everyone claimed he was. He was rubbing off on Audra, Tucker thought. She retorted that it wasn't in the proper manner because, unlike him, she wasn't extremely wealthy. He said, "Not yet," and implied that he could make that adjustment for her. Tucker remembered that Audra had rejected him when she brought up the plan he had discussed. Presuming she had changed her mind, he asked if she had become irritated by his pitch or if he was simply that alluring. Although Audra denied finding Tucker irresistible, she did believe that his offer to collaborate with him might be. He inquired as to what had changed when Tucker brought up the fact that she had previously declined with firmness. She said that although she had reacted impulsively when Jabot was brought up, she had had time to collect herself and become more composed. Given that she had been insistent that she was done with him completely, Tucker felt that something had changed. Audra declared that she had made the decision to quit Newman Media because she could not advance in the company and that there were greater opportunities available. Audra questioned bluntly if the offer was still on the table, and Tucker expressed doubt that she had just realized that. Tucker told her it was, but only if she told him the truth. He assumed Nikki had let her go. From Audra's quiet, he deduced that he was correct. Audra was adamant that she had resigned, and she challenged Tucker to question Nikki about it. It wasn't the nice drink and conversation Audra had hoped for, she grumbled. She saw Nate walk into the club. After following her eyes, Tucker deduced that Audra and Nate were involved in some sort of relationship, and he was certain that it had something to do with her quitting her job. Devin ignored Tucker, whose face darkened, and joined Nate. Devin looked at Tucker for a moment and inquired as to whether Nate and Audra were still friends. Devin remembered that the two had been close enough to do deals together, but Nate was hesitant to call her a friend. Even though he and Audra were still courteous to each other, Nate vowed that he had learned his lesson and did not view their relationship as a friendship. Devin sensed a connection between them. Because Tucker was poisonous, Nate claimed he couldn't understand why she continued to give him her attention and referred to it as a messed-up codependency. Nate immediately expressed regret, but Devin said he had come to the same conclusion. Family meant important to Nate, so he was happy that he and Devin could spend time together once more. Devin prayed Nate wasn't going to urge him to get in touch with Tucker. Nate understood how difficult it was for Devin to be without his father, but Devin reasoned that since Tucker had never been there much, it wasn't that difficult. Devin went on to say that Tucker would never be half the guy Neil had been, and that he had had the only father he would ever need. Devin complained that he didn't want someone like that in his life and that he couldn't believe a word that Tucker said. Audra, meanwhile, felt sorry for Tucker because Devin had blown him off. She thought his devotion for his son was one of his most charming traits, but Tucker said he hadn't noticed. When Tucker inquired about the others, Audra imagined that she would give him a list of his positive traits, which he could stick to his mirror as a constant reminder that he was a member of the human race. He appreciated her skill set, which included her sly glances, witty remarks, and subtle praise. He maintained that she was fascinating, despite her remark that he made her sound fascinating. Tucker recalled that when he had opened a vein by sharing his innermost thoughts with Audra, she had immediately shut him down. As she exchanged sly glances with Nate, he accused her of manipulating his split with Devin to pretend she cared, mocking the notion that she was overcome with guilt after she had allegedly resigned her prestigious position. Tucker claimed he was dying to learn about the lengthy scam she was running when he questioned sardonically if she was a member of the human race. Tucker noticed that Nate was making a concerted effort to avoid looking at Audra, and he had a suspicion that Nate was involved in whatever she was doing. Maybe, Audra thought, she just enjoyed gazing at Nate because he was a handsome man. She said that she was a beautiful woman, but Tucker pointed out that Nate was staring at her. Tucker pressed to find out what was happening between her and Nate after calling her dangerous. According to Audra, she and Nate were sharing a bed. Tucker said, "No, you're not," with knowledge. Tucker went on to say that he wouldn't give a damn if Audra and Nate were having sex because she would only be using sex as a tool once more. Tucker wondered what that goal was, but Audra told him to concentrate on their collaboration instead. "Who said I still want to partner with you?" Tucker asked. The notion that he had given her the world and then changed his mind made Audra laugh. Tucker said he was considering it, and he stood up to go. "Gentlemen," he began, walking past the table where Devin and Nate were sitting. Devin refused to acknowledge his dad. Devin yelled that Tucker was lying about everything and that he was irritated that Tucker thought he could cheat on anyone. Devin went on to say that having been kept in the dark about things had been awful enough, but learning that Tucker had duped him had made matters worse. It would be best for everyone if Tucker attempted to run his new business from France, Nate reasoned, because the announcement had upset it. Nate wondered why Tucker remained in Genoa City when everyone despised him, unless he was still hoping Devin would forgive him eventually. Devin assumed Tucker always believed he could prevail, and he didn't think Tucker would allow anyone to believe he had been driven out. Devin likened it to Nate's determination to win his family's forgiveness, but Nate maintained that his actions were insignificant in comparison to Tucker's actions over the years. Devin claimed that Tucker had demonstrated that he couldn't or wouldn't change, but Nate had demonstrated that he could. Devin thanked Nate for the drink, but he knew he had to go home. Nate and Audra looked at each other after Devin had gone. Nate wondered why Tucker had been observing him as he walked over to Audra's table. It had been about Nate eyeing her, Audra told him, and she warned him that he needed to improve on that. She went on to say that she needed to win back Tucker's favor because Nate had provided her with the ideal idea for how to steal Glissade from him by destroying him from within. Audra maintained that she knew exactly what she was doing, despite Nate's complaints that it was a pretext for her to be drawn back in. Tucker knew, too, Nate cautioned. It was her time to win, and Audra realized that was how she and Tucker played the game. Victor knocked on Nikki's locked office door at Newman Media and yelled out to see if she was there. Nikki and Jack said nothing in the office. It had been close, Nikki said with a heavy sigh after Victor left. Jack complained that he hadn't had the urge to sneak around in a while, but he didn't miss it. She reminded him that they had agreed to preserve secrets, despite his warnings to the contrary. Jack asked Nikki if she was certain she wouldn't inform Victor that he was now her sponsor. When Victor got back to Newman Enterprises, he called. When Nikki noticed that her husband was calling, she became alarmed. She complied with Jack's request to take it. Victor said he had assumed she had gone to bed when he discovered her office doors shut, but then he had noticed her car in the garage. She inquired if he needed to see her, pretending to have gone for a walk. She accepted Victor's invitation to supper and agreed to meet him at his workplace. Jack noticed the impact of hiding the truth from Victor after Nikki hung up. She reassured him that she could manage it and restated that Victor should not be aware of Jack's involvement. She clarified that she felt embarrassed to be in that situation because she couldn't go 2 days without getting the temptation to drink. She complained that she should have overcome her addiction weeks sooner because she understood how the program operated. Nikki was concerned that Victor was already under enough stress without her informing him she had found someone else to help her, and she pictured his reaction if he found out she was already depending on Jack. She had to spare Victor, Nikki insisted. Jack said, okay, and she thanked him for taking a break from whatever he was doing to spend time with her. Jack revealed that he had been at society, drinking with Victor and attempting to gauge his reaction to everything. It was exactly what Jack shouldn't have done, Nikki yelled. Jack was reprimanded by Nikki for approaching Victor to question him. Jack reassured her that he was skilled at extracting information from Victor without Victor knowing it, and that the one significant thing he had learned was that Victor loved her and would stop at nothing to keep her safe, including agreeing to sponsor her. Nikki insisted on going through it herself with the help of someone who genuinely understood what it was like, arguing that Victor couldn't possibly know anything about it. "I'm your guy," said Jack. Jack went back to the Abbott residence. Diane said she had been expecting him earlier and greeted him. He explained that Victor had nearly barged in on them at Nikki's office after receiving a distress call from her. Jack said that he was concerned about Nikki and detested what the secret was doing to her. Jack said that although he had witnessed Nikki fight the struggle on multiple occasions,